Hello everybody and welcome back to my channel. For those of you who are new here, hello, it's lovely to meet you. My name's Georgie. I live in the north of England. I'm 27 and I'm a mummy to one little girl and I'm engaged. Sorry it's been a while. Things have been a little bit chaotic here. I've basically been suffering from the effects of food poisoning for nearly 3 months, which is why I look a little bit like that. I finally got medical treatment, but that's a whole other story for another day, so I might delve into that at some point. But what I have been meaning to do and trying to do for a while is talk about our little girl and her allergies and weaning process. So our little girl, as I say, she's she's technically 14 and a bit months, and she was diagnosed quite early. I think she was about 3 or 4 months old, and she was diagnosed with a cow's milk protein allergy. We went through the blood tests and found that her allergy is like a slow developer rather than something that could potentially cause anaphylaxis, which out of the two we were happier with, because it means that we don't have to be quite as strict and uptight, you know, if we were taking it out places, or, you know, when we've been able to go around to family members' houses and sit, and if they've served something, we don't have to be so stressed about any food contamination. We just need to be, you know, mindful and wary of the reactions that she gets, how she starts to present, how she, you know, deals with the presentations, what we can do to help. So it is a slower reaction. So we changed her milk at that point. Now, a little bit before that, I tried breastfeeding. Unfortunately, I didn't produce any milk, and Eloise struggled to latch on. Otherwise, that would have, you know, breastfeeding was my preferred method of feeding, but for some people it just doesn't happen. So we ended up using formula. So we got taken off sort of your regular formula, because that is made out of cow's milk protein, and put onto something called Nutramigen, which has a tiny bit of very, I think it's called hydrolyzed. I could be completely wrong there. It's got a really tiny bit of cow's milk protein in it, but it's being processed in a way that it's really easy for the guts to break down, so she hasn't been taken off it completely. There is that teensy little bit. And then we were also advised to start weaning her around 4 months, and that was because she's more at risk of having other allergies to try and prevent them. We were advised by our dietitian to start weaning her at 4 months onto solid foods. Obviously be really careful and taking it really slowly, because we also had to introduce everything one at a time and leave it, you know, introduce it for a few days and then move on to the next thing, rather than putting 2 or 3 flavours in front of her, as, you know, some people do. So a little while after we had the confirmation of the diagnosis of the cow's milk protein allergy, which actually I haven't mentioned her symptoms, have I? She was constipated, she had a lot of gas, she was very irritable, she had eczema, really bad skin, she had really bad cradle cap, and it came right across her eyebrows here, like little bits of baby acne, but the main thing was the constipation, her wind and her eczema. So we got the diagnosis, we took her off the protein milk, the cow's milk protein milk, and onto the free-from, or what's classed as a free-from milk, and the constipation resolved itself. She didn't have the tummy struggles anymore, but we noticed that her eczema still flared up as we were introducing new foods to her. So we spoke to the dietitian and we said, you know, we weren't sure if it was a problem with the milk that she's having, because at the same time they changed the formula slightly in the milk, and we didn't know if it was something else. So they said to us that it's quite common for children that have got cow's milk protein allergies to also be allergic to soya. So to try taking soya out of her diet before we try changing the milk. So I was like, yeah, absolutely not a problem. Took the soya out of her diet, and really quickly, within a week or so, her skin started clearing up, and it's been up and down, but nowhere near as bad as it was since then. And we were told by the dietitians she will have to reintroduce both of them on a ladder process, and you have to do one ladder at a time, and you start after their first birthday. So her first birthday was the 31st of January 2020. Yes, she was a New Year's Eve baby, and we got a phone call from the dietitian in the beginning of February. So with COVID and everything, things are taking slightly longer to get through, and we have started her on the cow's milk ladder. We decided to go for that one before the soya because more things that we tend to eat have milk in them rather than soya in them. It's a lot of the free from things, like free from milk things, that tend to have the soya in. Like, we don't have an awful lot of soya in our diet as just a general. So it did make sense for us to go for the milk first. Plus then she could be drinking, you know, proper whole milk rather than having a milk alternative and then the extra vitamins and stuff on top. So the ladder that we have been shown and we have been using is one that's created for or by the NHS, and it has got 6 steps. You start off with a biscuit, a plain biscuit that has got something, a milk product in it. So milk as it's manufactured, you can have whole milk powder, you can have different types of milk, how it's broken down, and that's different, it's digested differently. So we started off with biscuits. The recommendations were malted milk, or dairy, digestive biscuits. Digestive biscuits we actually found don't have, or the ones that we were using don't actually have milk in them, but they are made in a factory that handles milk. So we started off on the digestive biscuits first, and then moved on to the malted milks, who do actually have milk, cow's milk, like product in it. She was absolutely fine with that. She started off with 1 biscuit, progressed on to the 3 biscuits that is recommended. It was absolutely fantastic. She got a little bit of a rash at the top of her shoulders, but she seems to do that with any new thing. But otherwise she was absolutely fine. So we gave her a little bit of time and we chose to progress. The second step was muffins. So we've got blueberry muffins. She loves like fruit and things, so we've got a blueberry muffins. We didn't want to introduce her to chocolate muffins because that's an extra form of milk for her to deal with. So we thought we'll stick to a fruity muffin, and just so happens we went for blueberries. Started off with half a muffin. I mean, you know, a good sized muffin that you get from the shop. We got the Sainsbury's cooked in store ones. Started off with 1, progressed to a whole muffin. She was fantastic with that as well. Didn't have any problems. Again, had a little bit of a flare up across the top of her back, but didn't have any problems with her going to the toilet. The rest of her skin was fine. She was as happy as anything. The third step was pancakes. Now we actually introduced her to pancakes on Shrove Tuesday, on Pancake Day, so that was lovely for us. We let her have a thin pancake and she loved it. She absolutely wolfed it down. So now she has pancakes and fruit for breakfast, which is lovely. And then the next step for us is cheese. Now we introduced her to cheese 3 weeks ago. 3 weeks ago I think it will have been, and she flared up with a horrific rash. All over her front, her tummy, her chest, down her back, under her nappy area. a little bit on her arms and her legs. She was really sore. She was uncomfortable with herself. She was pulling at her clothes. She can't say like, "Mama, I'm itchy," or something hurts. She hasn't quite got to that point in her communication yet, but she can tell me that she wants to be stripped by pulling at her clothes, lifting them up to her head, like lifting her top up and then lifting her arms up. Taking cardigans off, she can do that. So she was doing all that sort of behaviour. So we had her stripped quite a lot. We gave her Piriton, which is what has been advised to us, and we stopped the cheese. We took her about 4 days for the rash to calm down. She also had a flare-up of her eczema at the same time. We don't know if that was a reactive eczema, or if it was because the weather changed quite dramatically, whether it was a little bit of that as well, and the heating and everything, which does affect the eczema. I'm not quite sure what exactly was going on, but we are pretty sure that there was a link with the food because of the rest of her reactions. Fortunately, her bowels were absolutely fine. So we gave her a little bit of time to regulate herself again, sort herself out, and we have just started re-giving her cheese. I would also like to point out that she has a really, really good diet other than the introducing of the food, but while we're introducing, she sticks to the things that we know that she's okay with, so that we don't have the, oh, is it this or is it this? You get advised when you start on the ladders to have a good source of foods that you know that your child is okay with. This is why you start them at about a year. Also, their bodies have matured enough to be able to start processing things that they couldn't manage before. So, as I say, we are on to cheese. It starts off about 15 grams of cheddar cheese, or a hard cheese that hasn't been processed in any extra way, so it hasn't got extra fruit in, it hasn't got like chilies in, it's not like a blue cheese or a stinking cheese, it's not got like mould and stuff, it's just a normal cheddar cheese. So we have decided, because she reacted quite badly with the 15 grams nearly a month ago, we've decided to reduce it slightly and go for 10 grams and just see if that helps her. We gave her a first yesterday, so we should expect a reaction if she's going to get one. Either tomorrow or the day after, she'll start to come up with something. Usually it takes about 3 or 4 days to show a reaction. Once we've managed to get through the cheese, she will be moving on to yoghurt and then on to milk, which is absolutely fantastic. We were really hoping that we would get her onto milk by Easter, so that she could have like Easter eggs, that we could introduce her to. Proper chocolate is Easter eggs on Easter, but we're not sure that that's going to happen. So we've picked up a couple of free from Easter eggs that we know she will love, that don't contain any of the things that she can't have, just in case, because we don't want her to be without when she's got a little cousin that lives around the corner from us who is a couple of months older, and she'll be getting lots of Easter eggs and things, so we didn't want Eloise to feel like she's missing out or anything like that. Especially since we'll be able to, as long as everything goes well with the pandemic, we'll be able to spend a little bit of time together in the back gardens, let the kids play, and that'll be really lovely. So that is the milk ladder. The soya ladder is slightly different, and we're expecting the soya ladder to be a little bit harder because she has been quite sensitive to soya. Once we took her off eating soya, there's been things that she's accidentally had, and she's had quite a flare up. So we think that's going to be a little bit more challenging for us to introduce. But the soya ladder is more about the types of soya and introducing it really gradually, but I will make a separate video about that at the point that we hopefully will start the soya ladder, unless you want me to do something a little bit sooner. But we fully expect her eczema to get worse around the start of the soya ladder, but fingers crossed we'll be able to manage it and we will get through it, and she'll be on to eating a regular diet like everybody else. Otherwise, she is fantastic. She's a really, really happy girl. She loves going out and playing, and you know, going to the park, going on the swings and the slide. She goes to our family members a couple of days a week so I can do some work, and she's there with her little cousin and they love playing together as well, which is fantastic. So yeah, all in all, she's doing really, really well. She's starting to speak, she can walk really well, she's starting to jump. So she's eating a really good diet, and she likes her free from food, but when she gets the opportunity to try something that's like a non-free from food, she loves it. When we introduced her to cheese, she got out of the high chair after she'd had her dinner and grabbed the cheese bag and ran away with it. Just snuck it under her arm and ran away with it, and I had to chase her around the house to try and get it back because she loved it and she wanted more, and she kept asking for more, but I had to say, sorry baby, you can't have any more. So that was a lot of fun. Yeah, so I think that's everything. I'll do another video for you guys hopefully for tomorrow, and I will talk to you a little bit about what's been going on with me, and it'll be a bit more of a ranty video because, well, let's just say I'm not very happy at the moment. So I will get this video uploaded today. Hope you're all having a great day. The kids are going back to schools. It's all really good. Yeah, the light at the end of the tunnel is getting shiny, getting brighter. Okay, so yep, that's everything. If you've got any questions, please feel free to pop a comment down and I will try and answer as much as I can. If there's enough to do like a proper Q&A video, I will go ahead and do that. But if not, I will just pop a few answers down in the comments. So yeah, okay. Stay safe everybody, and we'll see you in the next one. Bye.